See people go out a lot of times, and when they ask, do you want your receipt? They say no. Me, I take my receipt every single time. If I go to the dollar store and they say you, I'll be like, can I have my receipt? You ain't gotta ask. I want my receipt. Because I've had a situation twice. I had a situation. One time I was in a mall, and you know, if you lose your receipt, you gotta pay full price. One time, my son, when he was small, he lost a receipt, and we had to go look for it and find that damn receipt in the store so that we didn't have to pay full price, right? Another time, I went through a toll back when you used to have to pay a person sitting at the booth, and so two times we went through that toll, and we paid the money, never got a receipt. Then a mail came, and it was like, oh, I owe $100. I'm like, $100 for what? We paid the toll, and they were like, no. So I called them up. I'm like, listen, we paid the toll. I'm sure you guys can run the camera back and see that we did pay that toll. And they was like, do you have receipts? And I was like, no. I was like, matter of fact, I gotta find it. And they was like, when you find that receipt, you let us know. But if you don't have a receipt, you gotta pay the whole $100. And they was like, the best we can do is take $50 off, but you have to pay. I'm like, is this a scam? Cause how is it that you want me to pay $100 for a $2 ticket? So ever since then, I learned, even if you go to the dollar store, get your ticket. Ask them for that, because you just never know what situation you might be in, and you have to actually show your receipt. Another time, I went to the bank, I used the ATM, and I put money in, and they doubled the amount. It was so much money that they put in my account. And I went home, and at the time I was telling my son, father, I'm like, yo, I went to the bank and they doubled the amount that's in my account, which is crazy. And he was like, take all the money out. But I was like, nah, they're gonna take my money. So I didn't use my account for like 3 months. Like, I was, no, actually I did use the account, but I would spend a certain amount that it would not touch their amount of money. Next thing you know, 3 months later, they realized that they put the money in my account and swiped my whole account and took every dollar. Mind you, when I went back, I'm like, where's my money? I started calling the bank. I went to the bank itself, and I'm like, listen, y'all took all my money. And I explained to them exactly what happened. And the lady said, well, if you don't have a receipt, then there's nothing I can do for you. Whose money? Yo, I was like, oh, excuse me. She was like, did you read properly what the ATM was saying? I said, ma'am, I know how to read very well. I followed every direction, and you guys made that mistake. That's on y'all. Please put my money back, and I need to talk to whoever I need to talk to, because my money needs to go back in my account ASAP. So then she was like, well, you need to find a receipt and blah blah blah. I This was 3 months later. I went through every single pocketbook I own and looked for that receipt. Thank God it was in one of my bag. I brought it back to her and I said, look, here. So then I showed her the receipt, and she was like, okay, well, since you have your receipt to prove, blah blah blah, I guess she put it in the system, or whatever happened, they put my money back. But I'm just trying to tell y'all, always keep your receipt no matter what it is. Even if you go to the bank, save that shit for at least a year. Do not throw them out. I know nowadays they send you emails and all these things, which is great, but I've been through so many experiences with not having a receipt. Mm-mm. That bank one was that one, and the toll. Yeah, keep them receipts.